Good morning. I keep doing that. Good afternoon. So, this morning, um, I spent a good time of my morning online. FYI, it is freezing in Washington today. And yes, I'm still in Washington. Long story. I'll explain it to those who are on a need to know basis. However, um, it's freezing. I have my hair in a ponytail today, and it's like cold today, like super cold. So I had to like put my ponytail up because it was just too cold on my neck for me to like handle it this morning. Anyways, um, cold here. Um, I hear that it's raining in California, so I'm like super happy and excited about that because I know you guys need the rain. But here in Washington, it's super sunny and super cold. So yeah, I'm freezing today. Anyways, today I want to talk about being worthy. Um, One of the biggest lies that I have believed in my lifetime is that I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of the job. I'm not worthy of being accepted in a group of people or a group of girls or a group of friends or a group of whatever. I'm not worthy for 100 different reasons. And maybe I'm not in some ways, but in other ways I'm more than qualified to be involved in certain situations. Um, so I have legit believed the lie that I'm not worthy of acceptance. You did catch me, Erica. Hi. My emails are going crazy right now. So I say all that. I brought this up because I was watching um, this video earlier about being damaged and the things and the lies that we believe when we're damaged. And the truth is that none of us are not damaged. Every single one of us is damaged in some way, shape, or form. We've all experienced things um, that make us feel like we're not good enough for something, right? You're not annoying me. You never annoy me. I love all the likes and they make me laugh. They make me feel like I'm saying something important. So we all say things. We all have been involved in damaged situations where we get damaged in life by experiences that we experience, by um, like things our parents say or do to us, or what other people have done to us. I know myself, I know several other people I know have been taken advantage of sexually at a young age, um, by people we love and care about, by people we don't know, by whoever. Um, so things have happened in my life that I've walked around with every single day of my life thinking, I'm not good enough for this situation because if only they knew what I was going through, if only they knew what I had experienced, if only they knew, the stuff that I carry around on my back. Listen, the other day, I was doing something and I realized that the things that my mom told me about my dad when I was a little girl was something a weight that I carried all of my life. And I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and I said, I was carrying around my mom and dad's marriage like it was my fault. Like it was my fault that they got married. I adopted that blame. I'm not saying that that was her intention, but I'm saying that I, as a child, picked up this blame that if I wasn't here, my parents would have never gotten married. And I put that weight on my shoulders, and I carried it through my life. I carried it. A weight that I should never have had to carry. It was not my responsibility. I wasn't there when my parents met. I wasn't there. I had nothing to do with it, right? I might have come along in the process, but I had nothing to do with my parents getting together. But as a child, I had adopted this responsibility that somehow I was responsible for my parents being married, for my parents staying together, for my parents, every time they argued, I felt like it was my fault. Like if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't be in that position. Like, I was supposed to be the carrier, the one that changed that off. And that's a huge weight for a child to carry. It's a huge weight. I wouldn't want my kids to carry anything like that. I really would not want my kids to carry that. I also picked up and carried weight from other situations that happened in my life. Like, I felt like if I tell this, then these people are going to get in trouble. And because I didn't want them to get in trouble, hi Kristen, because I didn't want people to get in trouble, I didn't tell. I didn't say the right thing or do the right thing because I didn't want to get anybody else in trouble. So I carried that weight of what other people did to me or what other people did in general because I didn't want anybody to get in trouble. I didn't want that responsibility. But instead what I was doing was hurting myself, right? And I'm picking up these weights and just like, I'm going to carry this one over here and I'm going to carry that one over there. And I'm going to lug this one over here and lug that one over there. And I went through my childhood and through my teenage years holding weight for everybody else and what everybody else was doing. In the process, I was devaluing myself and not placing the value in who I was and saying, this is my situation, it's not my problem, and putting it down and starting my own life. And so I went through all of these circumstances and all of these things in life thinking something was wrong with me. And it wasn't even my situation to carry. When my parents separated, there was a huge fight for custody over my siblings and I. And there was a bunch of drama and stuff going on with all the custody situation. And, when I got older, for those that don't know, my siblings, there was a bunch of drama going on with my parents, and so my brothers didn't want to live with my mom or my dad. My sisters were caught up in the middle. There was all kinds of drama. So I think my youngest brother was like 13, and he went to live with my dad, and my brother, something happened, and I think he was like 16 or so, and he ended up moving in with me, and he lived with me from 16. He kind of went back and forth for a couple years, but for the most part, he lived with me until he was 20. And then the other brother came later and had the twins for, a huge portion of that time. I took on the responsibility of all four of my siblings before I was 25. All four of them. That's not my weight. It was never my weight to carry. It was never my burden. It was never my situation. It was never my problem. It was my parents' problem, right? But I could not allow my siblings to end up in the foster care system, and I could not allow my siblings to just be like ripped apart or be in a home where there was drug usage or other crazy drama. I mean, I remember coming home and finding my sisters in the house with people nobody even knew. Like, it's like, who are you? And I just got out of prison yesterday. Well, what are you doing in this house then? Come on. We're the people who actually live here. Where are they at? And just being like, whatever, no. And I just wasn't okay with the circumstances where I'd have to pick up my kids' sisters, pick up my brother, pick up whoever, and say, no, you're coming with me because this isn't okay. And it wasn't my situation to carry. It was my parents' situation to carry. I should have allowed my parents to take the blame. I should have allowed my parents to fall wherever they fell. And I'm not saying which one or whatever, because that's irrelevant. But I shouldn't have been involved. But as a sister, these are my siblings, and I don't want my siblings to just be out wherever with whoever, so I had them come with me. And it was hard. I put my life on hold for a lot of years, to take care of other people. My whole life was on hold. Me and my son, we were on hold for other people. And it wasn't until I moved to Arizona that it was like really the first time that I felt like I'm doing something for me and for my kids. And everybody in my world was like, you can't move there, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I, honestly, it was like, well, you know what, I can and I am. And I don't really care what anybody else does at this point in time, because I've been doing it for everybody else. I'm going to do it for me now. Screw what everybody else is going through. And I just took off. I disappeared. And I didn't return to Washington for 10 years because I didn't even want to hear. I mean, I didn't even step one foot in the state of Washington because I did not want to hear what anybody in Washington had to say about me and my life and how I wanted to live it. It wasn't their business. It was mine. And so I grew up, right? In the 10 years that I was gone, I had to grow up. I had to learn, hi, Abby. I had to grow up and learn how to live my life and find out who I was. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't move to Arizona until I was like 27. So, yeah, I was like 27, I think. And that is huge because it was like my life didn't start until then. I didn't get to like be an adult and be on my own until then. So I felt delayed. I felt like I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really know how to do this. I had never really done it on my own without anybody else there to help me, without somebody else, a sibling or somebody. I couldn't afford to mess up. I couldn't afford to slip up. I had to do it right, and I had to do it to the best of my ability. And so I'm saying all of that because we all have situations, and I know that we all come from areas and places that maybe don't look the best and maybe aren't what other people would deem worthy. Do my situations qualify me for things? Sure, maybe. But on the other hand, it delayed me. I wasn't getting the work experience that I needed to get because I was busy staying at home taking care of my siblings or doing things, for other people. I wasn't out there getting educated at a younger age because I didn't really have the time or the energy to do that. I was busy trying to survive for all the people that were in my house, right? I had to cook, clean, do all those other things that in the process of having my own personal relationships and I remember being 25 and thinking, what guy is going to want me? Like, why would a guy really truly want me when I've got 4 siblings living with me and 2 kids? That's 6 people that I'm responsible for. Why would anybody want me? That's a big group of people to pick up and carry. That's a lot of people to be responsible for. And I remember thinking, like, no guy's ever going to understand why I have my siblings living with me, let alone 2 kids. And it's fine. Obviously, my life has moved on, and that didn't define me in any way, shape, or form. But that, again, the lies that we're believing, the things that enter into our heads that we listen to, the storyline that goes on, it's all a lie. And the whole reason why it even exists is just to distract you. It's just up there to distract you from whatever your purpose is. And the whole goal in life was like to find out what your purpose is, what you were created for, what are you good for, what are you on this earth, like what are you put here on this earth for. There's a reason for every single one of us. For me, I'm an encourager. That's just what I do. I encourage people. I love on people. I encourage. I'm a vocal person, so I don't mind sharing my crazy, right? Because I feel honestly my crazy, if it helps one person, then it is for a reason. Then everything that I've ever gone through and experienced is justified. So, I don't know. I guess today I just really wanted to kind of talk about that because that's what's been on my heart, is just knowing that whatever you think or whatever story is going through your head telling you that you're not worthy of fill in the blank is a lie. It's just there to distract you, to move you further away from whatever purpose it is that you're trying to fulfill. I know, like right now, I am working very passionately, but I'm working with an organization that's going to have like a huge mission trip next summer. It is going to be the largest mission trip on American soil to date. I think in the history, I'm not like mission trips. We usually think about going to Africa or going to some, third world country or something. But Los Angeles is looking like a third world country these days, and the time is now. So it's also my home. It's also where I'm from, and it's something that I'm very passionate about and something I care a lot about. So I've been working for months very closely with the organization, Mission Team. Um, Monthly phone calls, and there's all these meetings and things that I've been in to help build a team to take people where there's a call to action for 20,000 people to bring 20,000 people to the city of Los Angeles to for this mission trip. We're calling 20,000 volunteers, and it's a lot of people to be organizing. My group itself, we're calling, I would like our group to at least be 100 strong. And so that's probably why you're seeing me saying a lot about it right now, because I want a lot of people with us. I want to show out, I want to show up, I want to jump in and have a huge team coming to LA and saying, you know what, we're going to love these people, and we're going to show these people that they matter, and we're going to come in and do whatever it takes to be whatever it takes that these people need. And the amount of organization that's going into putting this mission trip together has been incredibly huge. It's a huge, 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 huge call. And so I'm a part of that, and I've been pushing it. So you're probably seeing me pushing that a lot. But in the back of my mind some days, I'm like, nobody cares. Why am I doing this? Why am I talking about this? It's not like anybody really wants to hear it, or people just think you want their money. And honestly, I'm not expecting anybody to give me anything. I just want your body, your physical body in Los Angeles next summer. That's the truth. I am so passionate about serving the people of Los Angeles. And honestly, it's not just because it's LA. It's because what happens in LA happens everywhere else in the rest of the nation. It will start in LA and spread. Just like Hollywood, a movie goes out, it spreads across the United States of America and then the world. And so I just know that in the core of my being that we're on to something huge, and that this is going to be like this crazy big thing that's going to just filter out across the United States, and not just the United States, but across the nation. Because it happens in LA, it happens everywhere. It's just the starting ground for it. It's like the fire that's going to just spread across the United States. So that's why I'm like so passionate about that. But I also say all that because in the back of my mind, while I'm posting and while I'm sharing, I'm still processing these negative thoughts that say, no one really cares, it doesn't really matter, why are you pushing this? These are the things that I hear, like nobody really cares, people think you're crazy, people think, whatever it is, they think, it's just another Christian event. And truth is, yes, Christians are organizing this, but this isn't just for Christians. This isn't just a Christian thing. This is a people thing. If you have a heart for people, and you care about people, and you want to see people get better, and you want to see, then come, because we need doctors, we need nurses, we need dental people, we need we're doing so many things. We're going out. We're not just going into LA just to do we're going to touch the homeless people. And I'm not even going to be anywhere near any homeless people. I'm going to be in a neighborhood helping people. I really am excited about that part too. And when I say going into a neighborhood, it's more like for instance, and I'll just share a personal story. When we lived in LA, we did the last time, when I was in college, we moved into, my children and I moved into a one-bedroom apartment. And I know a lot of people think I'm absolutely crazy for that, but the four of us lived in a one-bedroom apartment. We had a bunk bed in the living room for my two older kids, and I had a king-size bed in the bedroom for me and my daughter, who, when we moved in at the time, was 2 years old. So I didn't think anything about her being in the room because she was 2, and she was in bed with me. No big deal. Single mom. All four of us lived in a one-bedroom apartment. And it was like $850 a month, and we had a great little setup, and everybody fit, and it was great, whatever. So a couple years ago, I went on a mission trip to the Dream Center to do some things, and I was working at the Dream Center with the Dream Center in Los Angeles to do activities around town. And on one particular day, they took us to IKEA, and I'm like, why would we be in IKEA? That's weird, right? So while we're in IKEA, they had us purchasing beds and dressers. And I remember being like, why are we purchasing beds and dressers again? I'm so confused what the point of us being at IKEA is. And they were like, because There are families who are being ripped apart by DCFS, the Department of Children and Family Services, because every child in the state in Los Angeles County has to have their own bed. Like, they can't share a bed with another child or with another adult. They have to have their own physical bed by themselves, their own mattress that only they sleep on. And I was like, what? And they said, yeah, like bunk beds were okay, triple beds were okay, trundle beds were okay. That was okay. But each child had to be in their own bed or they could be removed from the home by DCFS. And I'm like, you're trying to tell me that my kids could have been taken away from me because my youngest daughter slept with me? And they're like, yeah. Because, and I'm thinking, I'm not a bad mom. Like, I didn't do anything wrong to my kids. We were fine in that apartment. We didn't, honestly, it was probably the closest my family's ever been to each other. And I know that sounds crazy because we've always had these big houses and, whatever. And all of a sudden we're in this little teeny tiny apartment. And we were like, I loved our life in that apartment. Even though I was always trying to move out of it, they were like, no, like they didn't even want to move out because it was like home and we were comfortable there. And I kept going back to that the rest of the mission trip. Like, my family could have been separated because me and my daughter shared a bed. Like, that just blows my mind. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing. We're going to be getting in and finding out the needs of these people in the communities that we're going to be serving. And like, I'm so excited to share that because I've been being quiet about it for so long, and now all of a sudden I can talk about it. So I'm excited about that because I can actually go in and help change somebody's life in a way that my life could have been totally transformed and crazy shifted. My life could have fallen apart in a million pieces. And I'm going to have the opportunity to go in and help somebody's life not fall apart because, we're going to be there to help. And so I'm super excited to go to LA and do that. But again, dealing with all the stuff in the back of my head that just makes me think, okay, I'm not worthy of this, I'm not capable of that, or, I shouldn't have the ability to do this, or whatever. It's just one of those things that it's just another lie that we're sitting and believing. It's just another distraction meant to keep us from our purpose, and just another situation that is stopping us from growing and continuing on in the path that we're supposed to be carrying on in. So, anyways, I've talked long enough. If you're interested in LA, let me know. And if not, cool, then don't be interested. But don't be knocking me when I talk about it, because I'm going to be talking about it. So maybe you guys should start liking my things. Just say, yeah, choose to like it as a high five or something so that I know I should keep going. Because unfortunately, between now and next June, I'm going to be posting a whole lot about Los Angeles. So enjoy it, and I will see you guys on the next day, tomorrow. I'm kind of leaning towards different story, but I don't know. This was just put on my heart to share today. So I hope you guys know that I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.